The North Gauteng High Court has heard what transpired on that fateful night in October of 2014 when Senzo Meyiwa was murdered. His best friend, Tumelo Madlala, has just wrapped his testimony for the day. He was in the Vosloorus house when Meyiwa was gunned down. He's told the court how he didn't recognize any of the people on the parade that may have entered the house the night Meyiwa was killed. Some interesting developments there in the last hour of today's proceedings. And to bring us up to speed, we're joined by Silindelo Masikane, who's outside the North Gauteng High Court and has, of course, been covering the story blow by blow for us. Lee, a dramatic end to the day there. What happened?
A very dramatic day in court today, Marcel, where the last 15 minutes were quite explosive, where we heard that Tumelo Madlala is possibly going to identify one of the accused as being one of the intruders who came in on that fateful evening on the 26th of October 2014. We are seeing the state prosecutor, George Baloyi, trying to introduce this evidence. He says he's got heads of arguments and has laid a basis to be able to lead this line of questioning, but he's been met by objections from the defense saying that one, they have not received these heads of argument, and two, Tumelo Madlala was only privy to one ID parade which took place about 3 days after or 3 days within the shooting incident, meaning that none of the men who are in the dock right now were actually part of that ID parade. Let's take a listen.
The state asks you whether are you in the position to identify any of the suspects before court?
If even if I was allowed to mention it yesterday or to say it yesterday, I was even prepared yesterday to say it.
Yes, say
it. Is why I'm breaking up. Hence I requested, can I just finish? Hence I requested that break yesterday, my lord, because what annoyed me yesterday was to be in the same room as that person.
Let's go back now, Slee, to what happened after Meyiwa was shot. Were we able to shed any light on what transpired today?
So we did get more details in terms of what happened when those who were in the house rushed Senzo Meyiwa to the hospital. We understand that Khumalo, who's Kelly Khumalo's mother, was the one who was informed about the fact that Senzo Meyiwa arrived. Basically, he was no longer alive when he arrived at the hospital. She then informed those who had rushed him to the hospital, and we understand that Orlando Pirates players then also made their way to the hospital, accompanied by Senzo Meyiwa's wife, Mandisa. Let's take a listen.
From there, they took us to the benches in the waiting room.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially because Mankumbula wafia no Mandis and Mazwamba no Mandis umfazwa kuseni.
Okay, because by then now it was packed or full at the hospital, because even Mandisa arrived. I don't know who she was with. Mandisa is Senzo's wife.
Kwasekugcwele na soccer players because imoto zayingena nje ziningi kwangena nama soccer players.
Even soccer players arrived because there were just many cars that were driving in.
So, Slee, the court obviously trying to really piece together a version of events of who was where when the murder happened, and of course, very importantly, what happened immediately afterwards. For example, where did Madlala stay after the shooting?
So according to Tumelo Madlala and his version of events, he was in Johannesburg to visit Senzo at his request, and that in fact he had he had stayed at the Milburton home that Kelly as well as Senzo shared in the south of Johannesburg, and that is where, in fact, he proceeded to stay after the shooting incident for about 3 days before he left back to KwaZulu-Natal. And from what we understand, Kelly Khumalo had a visitor, and that was Longo Twala's father, Chico Twala. Let's take a listen.
Ngamalanga ukuthi kwakuyiliphi ilanga, but while things akhona eMalbathini kuke kwafika uChico Twala.
I'm just not sure about the day, my lord. But whilst I was still in Malbatin, Chico Twala arrived.
Chuthi Kelly ngwana Kelly wayekhala kulawo malanga le nami ngingekho right chuthi uyewatshela uChico no umngane wakaSenzo lona.
Okay. Because Kelly was crying within those days, and I was also not well. So she's the one who informed, that is now Kelly informed Chico that this is Senzo's friend.
Okunye okuningi ngamuzwa ekhuluma noKelly embuza ukuthi akafuni ukuthi aye holding or something pressure nana.
I heard him speak to Kelly, inquiring from Kelly if she wasn't interested or didn't she want to go overseas for some holiday.